All right, TIG welding has got to be one of the funnest things that you can do. It's an absolute blast to learn. You can use it to fix or build almost anything that you want. You can even use it as a way to express yourself and have fun. And guess what? There has never been a better time to get into TIG welding. All right, so getting set up at my own shop at my house here. This has always been something I kind of wanted to do as a bit of a dream. Now that I'm up and going with a really nice setup at my place here, man, am I ever glad that I did it. Because to be honest, I had no idea how much it would actually change my life. So if you've watched my channel for a while now, you probably know a bit of my story. I've worked in welding production for about 20 years. At the plant that I worked at, I was the certified welding supervisor. I did a whole bunch of schooling, got a bunch of different tickets. But in welding, I reached a point where honestly, I kind of started to run into some problems. After doing it for years, I was dealing with some depression as far as options with my career. After doing it for so long, I was doing the same job over and over and over. I didn't really feel like I was growing or doing anything different. I wanted to learn new things, and to be honest, I wanted to start making more money. Things actually kind of started to get a little bit desperate for a while. Around this time, this is kind of when I started to work with people online, teaching them how to TIG weld. I started my YouTube channel, and it was a really exciting time for me in my TIG welding career. Obviously, long story short, what I'm doing now is my full-time job. I have this crazy setup at this shop at my house here. At any time of day, I can work on whatever project I want, whether it's for somebody else to make some extra cash, train some students in person, or making some welding art, or to be honest, whatever the heck I feel like. All right, so first thing up here, it's never been easier to get a setup at your own house or your own shop or whatever. Like I said, when I wanted to learn, it was like over 20 years ago. At that time, most of the setups were absolutely huge. They were super expensive, and the functions on them were a little bit basic. This machine that I learned on here was an absolute beast, and I loved it, but the machines that you can get set up with at your own house or shop here today, to be honest, the possibilities are endless. So whether you have zero experience with TIG welding, or you've been doing it for a while and you want to get your own setup, there are many options out there as far as what you can get nowadays, and getting it set up at your own shop or your house has never been easier. So for my YouTube channel here, I actually started out using an Everlast 210 EXT. I bought this thing with my own money. I was really excited when I got it. This machine was a super awesome inverter type setup. It had all kinds of options as far as bells and whistles on it. I absolutely loved this thing. Another one of the machines I got started with, and I still use it to this day, it was this machine here. It's the CanaWeld 201 Pulse D. This machine is absolutely awesome. I definitely recommend picking up the foot pedal to go with this machine here. And you've seen me on the channel talk about how I kind of had a few complaints about the torch that it came stock with. But after upgrading the torch, I've done literally over 100 videos for my channel here using this exact setup. It's dead simple to use. It's super small. It takes up like virtually no space in your shop. It gives you some really nice control and basic functions on your machine. And as far as price point, this one is definitely way friendlier on your wallet. I would say putting a bit of money aside to save for a torch upgrade, I'd say that this one right out of the box is definitely one of the best setups I have at my shop here. For anybody looking to get started with TIG welding, this might be one of your best options. Now, if you're looking to get set up with something a little bit flashier, I've had this Everlast machine here. This is the 255 EXT. I've had this for over a year now. And this one is an absolute workhorse to use. It has lots more settings of ways that you can customize the machine. It has a ton of programmable banks that you can save your settings into. And one of the best things about this machine, it's got more power and it is water cooled. The torches and the accessories that this one comes with are absolutely fine. You've seen this machine on my show for like over a year now. I've used it for dozens of episodes. I've upgraded the torch to a lightweight CK Worldwide torch. Again, customizing a few pieces that I prefer on this thing. This machine is incredible. Now there's definitely a ton of other machines out there as far as entry-level stuff. And of course, there's always big name brands out there as well. But whatever you want to go with and whatever suits your needs, you can literally get it shipped to your door. Now, providing that you have a proper power setup at your house or your shop, do your research on this before you purchase a machine. You can literally be up and running and welding within hours of cracking open the box. Do some research on what suits your needs best before purchasing. Look at the different options as far as what there is that will suit your needs. In my opinion, you do not need to spend extra money on an expensive setup. Obviously, there's big name brands that are awesome as well, but if you're looking to get something set up at your shop or your house, or if you're looking for something to learn on, don't crush your wallet. These brands that I use here on my channel, at my shop here at my house, they are absolutely fine for everything I have done here. Doing demonstrations on my channel here, teaching people in person or in my online TIG welding program, even doing some pretty heavy duty weldment with bigger projects here at my house myself. To be honest, I'm actually really happy happy that I didn't throw down for a really expensive setup. I would personally save my money for customizing the machines that I do have here now, as well as getting some nice gear like good gloves and good helmets and stuff like that. All right, now another thing that is an absolute dream come true with TIG welding at your own house or your own shop is now I have access to this stuff at any time. This means that I have the freedom to take on jobs and make some extra cash anytime I want. And what you see here at my shop here today actually started out as a bit of a side hustle. I was working at the manufacturing plant all day as a welding supervisor, and on evenings and weekends, I was cracking out little side jobs for people whenever I found time to do so. It was an absolute blast to take on jobs that I actually felt like doing, and believe me, once people find out that you have your own welding setup at your house, it does not take much advertising at all before people come knocking. You're gonna be the most popular person in the neighborhood, I guarantee. After a while, the work I was doing here at my shop started to get more and more fun. Combined with working with students, teaching them how to TIG weld, making some extra cash whenever I felt like it, I was actually able to create a completely different career path for myself. Now, this is a completely separate topic here. Do your research before you consider anything like this. I mean it. Total disclaimer on my part. But I finally made the jump and started doing what I'm doing here full time. I can now literally work 7 days a week if I want to. I have the opportunity and capabilities to take on whatever job I want to. Having a setup at your place like this is an incredible way to have some freedom like this for yourself. So whether you just want to play around with this as a hobby, whether you want to make a few bucks for yourself on the side, or grow this into something bigger over time, and obviously I'm super biased because I love this trade so much, but spending time and money on your own setup and learning how to do the best work that you can, this could pay off big time in the long run if you really wanted it to. But again, don't go quitting your job or anything like that. If your wife sends me a pissed off email about how I convinced you to quit your job, it's not my fault. All right, next up, this is something I briefly mentioned earlier. Now, because I felt really stuck with my career at the time, I'd literally been doing the exact same production work for 20 years. I had gotten dozens of tickets as well as certifications with welding in general. After some personal events in my life kind of started going down, honestly, I kind of found myself in a bit of a tough spot. Now, a lot of people who watch my channel have seen the artwork that I create. It's one of the biggest passions I currently have in my life. Making art with welding was actually something I just started doing for fun. I actually did a bunch of this stuff way back in the day. I didn't even have a YouTube channel at the time. Having a setup that I had access to play around with, it really helped me to get my mind off some personal stuff that I was dealing with at the time. But welding in general, as well as playing around with welding at my shop here, genuinely became a form of therapy for me. Once the rest of the family went to bed here, putting some headphones on, putting my respirator on, and just arcing up, burning a bunch of filler rod on something, this has really helped me through some tough times in my life. I have talked about this briefly on my channel before, but look out for yourself on this topic. A hobby or a passion like this can definitely help to get your mind off some stuff, or shake things up and have some fun with something if you're feeling stuck. Having the freedom to explore with this trade, again, whether this is just a hobby or a passion of yours, over the years, this is something that's really helped me out. Okay, actual side note here, take care of yourself if you're going through a rough time. Man, this is not something you're gonna hear typically on most welding channels. But I mean it, having this set up here has been absolutely awesome for me. Check out the links in the description below for this episode. I'll have a ton of gear listed down there that I use, as well as a link to my online TIG welding program. You can literally learn how to do this in the comfort of your own home or shop. In my opinion, there has never been a better time to learn how to TIG weld. If you have gotten your own TIG welding machine, first of all, congratulations. But watch this episode next. When getting a new machine, sometimes having a lot of options on it can be a little bit overwhelming. This episode goes over the most important settings on your TIG welding machine. These are basic things that are gonna get you great results right out of the box. Go watch that episode next. Do a random act of kindness for a stranger today. My name is Dusty, Phil and Chill. We will talk soon. Peace.